Once again, you are welcome on 360 Sports. 2021 is almost rounding up, as you just have to look at happenings in the world of sport in the year. What really went good for Nigeria, bad and ugly. A lot of happenings that happened this year in the world of sport, talking about so many Nigerians that actually went to that particular sector and they did well. Some things went wrong and also some things were really ugly. We just have to review Nigerian sport here, 2021. That's why I have in the studio, from my far left-hand side, is Nonso Arinzechi. Good to have you.
Great to be here again.
Okay, and to my immediate left-hand side is David Godwin Bamigwe. Good to have you, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, now, 2021, a year that we can look at as good, bad, ugly for sports. Let's start from the COVID impact in the world of sport for 2021, looking at the impact of COVID-19, how it actually affected all the sporting activities in 2021. That's our top story for this show, looking at COVID impact on sport for the year 2021. You look at the fact that a lot of happenings in the world of sport were not able to have been achieved in 2020. So many events was transferred to 2021. Yeah. And now you look at the impact of 2020, the sports that could not hold in 2020 were all transferred to 2021, which also made 2021 event to be kind of shifted. Yeah. Now, a lot of impact that a lot of athletes were not happy concerning the issue of COVID-19, event being cancelled, that is sports tournament being cancelled, going for so many opportunities that could have, at least the athletes will have been able to achieve, they were not able to do it. Football, handball, volleyball, mention any sport.
Yeah. It was indeed a funny year. It started last year, like when there was a massive lockdown and then teams couldn't participate in sport. There was a total lockdown, but later on in the year, we got the fact that there was a partial reopening of sports where games could happen at closed venue. Don't forget, let's start from in Nigeria. The MPFL games were played under closed doors. The sports festival, they had to arrive in batches, and then some of the games that would have taken place were more or less cut short. The games were try as much as possible to follow the COVID protocols, where you will see different teams, part of the team arriving in batches. And the fact that if you look at football as well, where it now became more or less virtually, you get virtual sounds in stadiums. There was no longer that euphoria of having fans in stadiums. So it was really a hard year for the athletes, like you said. We had to postpone the sports festival. Unfortunately, it ended up being held on twice, from January to April. And in April, it was more or less a beat part. So it wasn't a pleasant year for athletes. But like you said, sports will always go on despite COVID-19. We saw that in Europe, in the Premier League. We saw that in Nigeria as well with the MPFL. We saw that at some point we couldn't get the volleyball championship running. The basketball as well was in a long hiatus. But like we said, sports at some point towards the year started growing up, and then we started seeing fans returning gradually in stadiums.
Now, to Mr. Bamigwe, looking at what happened in Nigerian sport, the impact of COVID-19, it's really hampered a lot of sporting events that could have happened. And we saw how it affected a lot of athletes because of the fact that they were just training. In fact, they couldn't even go out to train. They had to be training at the backyard of their houses.
Yeah. I want to say that the COVID-19 affected every segment of society, and how it affected sports. It affected the managers, the owners of clubs, the athletes, the fans. So it is all encompassing. Maybe the profit or a benefit that would have been derived from sports, they were not able to get it. And that hit hard mostly on players, the athletes and their officials, the coaches, who depend on income from sports to earn their living. They had to, fend for themselves, looking for other means of getting money to take care of themselves. Of course, I want to say, I don't know if we are going to that place. Those in football, there was this palliative, FIFA palliative, extended to clubs in Nigeria. I think this is commendable, but in a nutshell, it was not palatable. The athletes and the officials had it very rough.
Okay, now we're still talking concerning the COVID impact, looking at 2021 in review of happening in the world of sport. We leave that particular issue. Is a big, humongous issue that actually affected sport in all sector. Now let's look at National Sports Festival and also National Youth Games. This particular event, so it was a particular one that everybody wants to see what's going to happen. Are we going to have the National Sports Festival? It was almost not being held in Edo State, but finally, a lot of people were happy that the National Youth Game went, so it was actually held in Ilorin, and also the National Youth Sport Festival held in Edo State.
After 2 times, like I said, postponed twice, we finally got the sports festival up and running. Even during the sports festival, there was some fracas, you know, whether the game would stop at some point. The state government and the organizing committee were saying, okay, there were not much fundings, the game would stop, they didn't have the right fundings to take the games to the end of the tournament. But good one for the Ministry of Sports. They came in, they stepped in, brought in fundings, and the sport went on. Yes, maybe not the best of National Sports Festival, but it was long overdue. We had to get the sports festival up and running and done and dusted with, so that we can move on to the next year. It was supposed to host in 2019, and it did happen 2020, now 2021. So I felt for the athletes, we talked about the fact that there was no competition. Even the African Championship as well was postponed at some point, no thanks to COVID-19. So it was a good new lease, you know, returning the athletes back into the track, the footballers back into the field, having a feel of sports in Nigeria again. It was a good outing, especially for the perennial winners, Delta State. They did so well.
Okay, now to let you know that Delta State is the team that's the state that seems not to be resting at all when it comes to sports. They are really the baba of sports in Nigeria. That state, they won the National Sports Festival. They also won the National Youth Games to show the level of their preparation for sports. You look at Delta State winning the National Youth Games in Ilorin and also scooping the National Sports Festival, despite the hampering, despite the fact that those events were delayed. But eventually, they started to show their class.
Yeah, Delta State, we know, has produced so many athletes for Nigeria. In fact, some of the stars in football that you heard about, J.J. Okocha, I think Olise is from Delta State also, and a number of them. You see, because they have a plan, you know, Delta State, Delta State always have a plan, you know, and that is why you can't take it from them. They are doing very well in sports generally. I'm not surprised they won the National Sports Festival and the Youth Games, and they are already preparing for the next National Sports Festival. That means they have that plan, a long-term plan, and they hope they're going to win the National Sports Festival.
I think they've got a sport-loving governor, Mokoa.
Yes.
He's proved that even with the building of the new stadium in Delta State as well. Yes. And the good thing about the stadium is that it's even open to fans and to athletes to come in and use the facilities. It's not as if it's a jammed stadium. So I think, like you said, they love the sport. The reward system as well was fantastic. I think they were the highest in the sports festival as well. And then, who want to represent a state that loves sports and is striving in sports?
Now, looking at Nigerian Sports Festival, the National Sports Festival that took place in Edo State, Nigerian sport for the 2021, we are reviewing all the happenings. The National Youth Games in Ilorin saw emergence of so many young athletes, a lot of talents, the particular athletes that really did well. In fact, a lot of Nigerians appreciate the fact that that event took place in Kwara State. The governor of Kwara State hosting Nigeria youths there in National Youth Games in Ilorin. You saw a lot of the talents being discovered. Also in Edo State, despite the fact that COVID-19 delayed the event, it eventually came up and Nigerian athletes were happy. There was no single recorded positive to COVID-19 among the athletes. That shows that the Edo State government really did a wonderful job bringing together all the stars of Nigeria. We really appreciate the fact that 2021, eventually, the National Sports Festival came to light and also the National Youth Games. Now, still talking about Nigerian sports in 2021, reviewing it, we have to look at other sport. Nigerian exploits in sport in 2021. A lot of sport in volleyball, you mentioned local sport of like dam-based sports. You have look at so many handball, volleyball, football, hockey, not forgetting cricket, and also a lot of Nigerian athletes like Tobiloba Amusho did well for herself. She was able to win one of the races that at least she broke record. You just have to appreciate what she did in the world of sport. Nigerian exploit in sport in 2021, you just have to look at what our sports athletes talking about any sport in Nigeria. Recently, the volleyball league ended. You look at handball league also ended, and a lot of the emergence of lots of young Nigerian athletes.
As well as the basketball league as well. It just ended that Chon and Rivers Hoopers as the Nigerian competition at the board, that's the Basketball African League. It was, like I said, sport thrived. Yes, this starts well, but towards the end, we started seeing a lot of games happening in Nigeria. Even at the cadet level with volleyball, the under-19s, the under-13s as well. There were lots of lots of games being played in Nigeria as well. If you'd ask me, it was a great year for sports, in my opinion, because it's not even table tennis as well. We had the table tennis championship in Lagos, where we got even the best in Africa to come in and participate. So, sport-wise, Nigeria did so well. Don't forgetting the exploit of Haruna Quadri as well, the table tennis player, when he did. We took Nigeria when we went to the international table tennis championship, where he became the first Nigeria as well to get to the quarterfinal of that competition. So it was a fantastic year for Nigeria in sports, if you'd ask me.
Now, if you look at table tennis, what Haruna Quadri achieved, no African has ever done that.
Yeah.
It was a feat that, in fact, maybe it will take time before somebody will do that. Although the Egyptians are always trying to see how they can outpace him, but that it has really done well for Nigeria when it comes to table tennis. Becoming actually ended the year with 14th best player in the whole world. Yeah. Early December when he played that game, he came 13th, but he ended the year 14th. And we just have to appreciate what he did.
And with little or no funding from government, I have to add that as well. If you look at the Olympics, where he talk about the fact he struggled to sponsor himself, and it was thanks to the likes of Segun Torola, the guys, his predecessor before him, trying to push tennis to the next level. I want to see a situation in Nigeria where we can get younger talent, where we can pass on the baton. We were celebrating Oshonaike. I'm happy for her, but after her, who's next? You know. She stayed too long a time right now. She's now.
We have Edem Ophion.
But she's just coming. I want to see where we can look at our channel and say in the next 4 years, this girl will be the next Segun Toriola or the next Oshonaike. But for we can't argue with Haruna Quadri. He had a fantastic year, like I said, 14th in the world, first in Africa, got to the quarterfinal of the tennis championship. And let's see what 2022 brings for him.
Okay, I want to just add that despite all the odds in the year 2020, the Nigerian sport grew. I want to say it is maybe because of the commitment of certain people in government and individuals. You were talking about the Edo State governor. Edo State government. If the deputy governor who is in charge of sports there, Shaibu, is a sports-loving person. In fact, he was a footballer here in Abuja.
The MPFL,
yes, he played here in Abuja, and he carried it over. For the National Youth Games, we have the governor there also, Kwara State governor. He was the chairman of Security and Exchange Commission Football Club in Abuja when he was here in Abuja some years back. That is the interest he has in sport. And when you look at what transpired during the year, especially the crisis that rocked the association, especially in Nigeria, you think that we will not achieve anything, especially in basketball.
Yes.
Up to now, the basketball, it has not been resolved, but the basketball league went on. And then the federation election held. And I think that also gave some impetus to some, federations to do something so that they will see them doing something. And before the end of the year, we have been able to achieve something.
Now, looking at what happened in 2021, we are reviewing the year 2021 in Nigerian sport. A lot of exploits. We talked about Haruna Quadri, what he achieved as a table tennis player, ranking 14th in the world right now. We've also looked at Nigerian National Sports Festival that took place in Edo State, National Youth Games in Ilorin, where Delta States cooked both of this particular event. Not forgetting the fact that COVID-19, no thanks to that particular pandemic at all, how it actually hampers so many sports in Nigeria and also in the world all over. 2021 review in the world of sport. Now let's look at a particular scenario. A Nigerian, well, you might want to like him or not, you just have to appreciate the fact that he was able to do something. His name is Amaju Pinnick. Amaju Pinnick actually vied for the FIFA Executive Council election, and he was able to get a seat. As we speak right now, Nigeria, for the first time, we have a Nigerian in the FIFA Council seat who, one way or the other, you want to look at what he achieved. If you talk about him leaving CAF to join FIFA, and you look at, during the time of the election, a lot of people are looking at, will he be able to get this seat? And he was able to get it.
I think he's quite boisterous, you know. He finds his way around the politics in sport, if you ask me. From the NFF down to an executive member in CAF and now to a member as well in FIFA. You would argue that we have a voice in Africa, we have a voice in world football, and that's what we expect from Amaju Pinnick, the president of the NFF. We don't want to talk about the issues around it, whether he was...
Let's just look at least that achievement.
Exactly. It's not easy to get a Nigerian in the FIFA Council. I'll give that to him. Like I said, he knows the politics well in football. I'll give it to him. He knows the politics well. If he find his way around getting to even the echelon of world football, don't forget he brought in the president of FIFA, Infantino, here to Nigeria, as well as Ahmed, then the CAF president to FIFA, as well as Patrick Bosepe, so to Nigeria here. So I think he's done so well for himself, if you ask.
Now, I will push a Super Eagles story, so Mr. Godwin. Now, we look at, in 2021, Nigerian Super Eagles, they were able to at least made it to qualify for AFCON. Yes. We also look at their performance. It wasn't too good. We saw what happened, how they played against the African Republic. They were like, yeah, we're not happy. But all in all, you can give Super Eagles some pass mark. Let me hear that pass mark from Mr. Bangboy.
Well, the pass mark is that they have been able to move to the next stage. Yeah. And another pass mark is that the Super Eagles has a lot of talented players. Players playing in Europe. Individually, they are doing well in their clubs. But my problem with the team is that this crop of players have not been properly managed. You know, they have not been properly managed to be what we want to see in them. I can imagine Central African Republic coming all the way to Nigeria to beat the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I think they had to quickly make up their mind that, see, man, we have been disgraced in our land. Let us go to Cameroon and beat these people. So it was a face-saving effort they made. They were able to come back. If the Super Eagles are well managed, I want to believe that they can, give their best at any level. At the worst stage, they can give their best, but let them be properly managed. I don't know if we're going to talk more about how we're going to do it. Then I will make more comments on that.
Okay, we are reviewing the Super Eagles for 2021. Super Eagles, well, they actually won some matches. They lost some, they drew some. A lot of matches that Nigerians were not happy that they expected them to win, they couldn't win. Like the match against the African Republic, it was a bitter taste in Nigerians' mouth. They were not really happy about that. Well, looking at Super Eagles in 2021, AFCON is coming in a couple of days. They should be going to Cameroon. But for the year 2021, their performance so far, we just look at it, actually ranking them according to their performance. Maybe I should give them at least 60 or 70%. Now, if we look at it, the Super Eagles as a team, we were not able to say, okay, these are our first 11. Even though, yes, we have players scattered all over the world, but our first 11 cannot just be fathomed out due to the fact that we're not too certain who are the first 11 players of the Nigerian Super Eagles. Away from Super Eagles, now let's look at Super Falcons. Super Falcons of Nigeria. It was you can call it the year kind of up and down. They played in the entire Turkey. They won that event in Turkey. They also played in the Four Nations tournament over there in US before coming to Nigeria to play in the Aisha Buhari's Cup, which they eventually lost to South Africa. It was a painful one, a very painful one. That match, it was as if it was a nation. It was a Nations Cup. Nations Cup.
You know, anytime when Nigeria plays South Africa, whether it is male or female, there's this grudge match between both teams. They don't want to lose to each other. And it was a friendly game. If you ask me, no matter what, it was a grade A friendly game, but it was a sour pill in the mouth of Nigerians. How are the mighty falling? Nigeria would never, for the Super Falcons to me, would never struggle to qualify for the AFCON. And our bet, what is the semi-final bet? But you can see how we struggled, you know, to get past, was it Cote d'Ivoire? Cote d'Ivoire now we're faced with Ghana in the final round of qualifiers to get to the AFCON. We had to. We didn't make it to the Olympics as well. We couldn't qualify for the Olympics as well. We didn't qualify for the Olympics as well. And it affected the team. You could argue, but the actual World Cup to me tournament was a total disaster. Apart from the first 2 wins we got, thanks to the homegrown players. I'm trying to remember her name, Ikechukwu Vivian scored a brace, and as well as Gift Money, both playing the Nigerian Women Football League. They did score a brace in those 2 games. The final game against Africa was an ISO. I feel the friendly games in the United States of America was a good exposure for the girls on the new coach Wildrop. But come on, you judge the Super Falcons based on the games that mattered more, which were the qualifiers, and I think they struggled, they managed just to get to the next round, if you ask me.
Well, we've been looking at some Nigerian events in the world of sport in 2021, and we just have to look at our last topic for this hour, talking about the Under-20 World Athletic Championships that took place in Nairobi, Kenya. Nigeria, we were there as a team. Team Nigeria was there, where we were able to at least scoop some gold medal there. The likes of Oko surprised the whole world, shocked everyone as she was able to surprise in fact, nobody gave her the chance. 400-meter race. She did well in 400 meters. She won gold. She also did well in the relay race under 20 championship in Kenya. Mr. Bamibwe.
Let me go to that. I wanted to make a comment about the Super Falcons before I come to that. The result that Super Falcons got in recent time is to show that it is time for change. The crop of players there, they are aging, and there's need to replace them. The earlier they do that, the better. Because we have dominated Africa in women football for so many years, and the other countries have matured, and we need to. But back to athletics, I think we want to should commend the people in the Athletics Federation. They are doing their best. Before any of those players went to Kenya to achieve, there must have been some people there down the line, the coaches nurturing them. If we have a plan, a structure on ground to train our athletes using what we have, like the Mambila Plateau in Taraba State. We have a camp there that would have been useful for athletes, but we are not using it. So I want to commend those that have nurtured these people, and to commend the Ministry of Sports also, the Minister of Sports in particular, Sunday Dare, for what he has been doing in recent time. The results are clear.
Well, we just have to call it off right now, talking about 360 Sport. It's time to go. We really need to appreciate David Bamibwe for coming on the show. Good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And for Nonso Arinzechi, good one there.
Yeah, we ended on a good note with the under
20 World Cup.
Our best ever outing in that competition. What a year.
Yes, that's 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajisha. Sport is fitness and business. Thanks for watching.